Welcome to Recently on Reddit, a tiny Black Panther production. Here we explore some eye-catching posts from several popular subreddits. So sit back and relax and enjoy a few tales that people have told about events in their lives. Did you know that dogs' nose prints are as unique as human fingerprints? Good for the forensic community. That's today's loosely related fact. If you enjoyed today's video, please consider subscribing. And with that out of the way, let's get started. From r/antiwork, posted by Mashing Buttons. My partner and I refuse to work more than 32 hours a week, and we're shamed for it. I work as a dishwasher at an indoor playground. My partner works as a cashier at a construction wholesaler. We both make a little above minimum wage, and while we're not rich, we're doing fine. We can pay our bills and rent on time and have enough money to enjoy our free time with our hobbies. But we're also both in our early 30s. I'm 30, partner's 32. And we're expected to build careers, or at the very least have a full-time job. We refuse to work any more than we need to. And it's getting tiring to having to explain our reasons to everyone. Why is it such a taboo to want to live more and work less? Why would you work yourself ragged just to afford a single week or two on some vacation when you can just make your free time a part of your schedule and not some yearly event? Free time shouldn't feel like Christmas that only comes once a year. If we can pay for our needs and wants and save up a little, then what's the problem? People always act like we are the ones making a sacrifice, while to me it's the other way around. Time is all we have, so why would you sacrifice more of that time and sell it to some a-hole who doesn't even value the worth of it? Fluff that. If I can keep this lifestyle up and be ready for the next few decades, I'll be happy as a clam. Chances are our generation isn't going to be able to retire anyway, so there's not this promise of free time once you're done. Might as well spread the time over your entire lifetime, right? I'm not lazy. I do stuff constantly. I'm always working on something. But because I'm not making money off that work, it's seen as lesser and a waste. And this mindset really irritates the heck out of me. I completely agree. Right now, I am working very, very, very part-time. And granted, okay, we're not financially stable at this point because I am only working very, very part-time and we live in a very expensive area. But I kind of feel like the people in my life would probably not understand if I decided, even if we were completely financially stable, to not try to find more paying employment and to just put all my time into these YouTube videos, which is honestly what I would really rather be doing. Unfortunately, my YouTube videos are not yet monetized, so I'm not making any money off this. I'm just enjoying myself. And that's something that I think more humans need to learn to do. We work and kill ourselves for years and years and years. And in the end, we're all broken and hobbled and can't enjoy the time. And it just doesn't make any sense. We need a new system. From r/Tales from the Front Desk, posted by Tragadile. PSA, please make sure your pets aren't too smart. Warning, mobile, and also 5 a.m. for me. Figured I would say this story on my shift. I work at a Sumfort Queets that allows pets, mostly keeping them to the first floor. Lots of folks were visiting for Thanksgiving. Several having pets, as I assume, just like myself, they consider them family to bring along for the holiday. Q in a family that gets 2 rooms, coming in as a walk-in from an RV. These folks get 2 rooms with 2 large dogs in each room. Sounds lovely, lots of furry friends to get to know. I checked them in fine, and they came through the lobby holding a few and walking others on leashes. An hour later, as I go to check in someone on a reservation, one of the smaller dogs comes just walking through the lobby, looking around like it was lost. Confused myself as I had only just seen the owners leave for dinner, presumably. I managed to follow the dog down to the other entrance and catch it. I go back to the lobby and finish checking in these other folks. As they start to leave, I go and find the room they were in. As I approach, the door opens, and suddenly 2 more dogs peek out, no human in sight, and then rush out of the room and down the hall. For the next half hour, myself and 2 other guests worked to corral these dogs back to their room, finally getting them back in and closing the door. The owners show up right as I'm done, having called them twice during this situation, and profusely apologizing. Apparently, one of the dogs was so sick of not being around their owners, he learned how to open the door. Thankfully, these dogs were smart. They were able to get outside thanks to the automatic doors and knew the RV meant their owners, so would go back and forth between the RV and their entrance until they were all in the hall, and I was able to close off the hall with the door we had there. I'm so thankful someone didn't lose their fur babies today. But as a reminder, this is why we ask you don't leave your pets alone. Yeah, so this reminds me of a story. When my husband and I were escaping Hurricane Michael, we stayed at a hotel on our way back to my parents' house. And we had our cat with us. And we let her out of our carrier in the room. Because I'm not going to leave her in the carrier overnight. And she was fine during the evening and all night. And in the morning, when we're packing up to leave, the cat is nowhere to be found. You have to understand, my cat is not small, but she is black. So if she goes into a shadow, you cannot find her. So we end up going down and getting staff to help us search for her. And it turns out she was behind the refrigerator in the room. Never even got out. Traveling with pets is scary. From r/anti-work, posted by Confetti Stitch. My boss told me he didn't know what I did at the company and refused me a raise, so I got creative. I currently work in an architectural firm that specializes in remodeling heritage buildings, several years into it now. Before this, I used to work in an art gallery and would regularly be wearing white gloves, so the switch to a construction company was a huge change for me. This meant that when I arrived on day one, I was pretty out of my element, but was excited for the challenge. No one in the office really knew what to do with me, so I started to carve out a niche for myself and began assembling packages of all our previous jobs into standard reports with photos, pricing, and write-ups, so we could submit these quickly when bidding new jobs. Before this, the firm would just keep digging up the same info again and again, which was often spread across several people's computers from different departments. What a terrible system. I focused on work that was computer-based, since that was what I knew and what I could contribute. But now I realize that for anyone who might just be a construction old-timer with limited computer knowledge, it may have seemed like I was just sitting at my computer all day. The people who knew about the work that I was producing, though, were very happy with what I was doing, as it made their own work much easier. After several months, I finally had my first performance review. Enter my boss, who we'll call Don. I get called into Don's office, and it's him, me, and two other managers. Don proceeds to tell me that he has no idea what it is I do at the company, and every time he looks over at me, it looks like I'm just clicking around on my computer. I'm stunned, as I've been putting a lot of effort into my reports and know it's 100% necessary, and I look to the other two managers who say nothing. Don keeps telling me that he understands that I'm shy, I'm not, and that I'm quiet, I'm not, but he needs to see me being more assertive and walking around the facility more. Because of this, I'm not going to get the raise that he promised me during my initial interview. I don't do much at this point and just smile and say, "You got it, boss." And I leave after making sure that we've scheduled a follow-up review in a month. Over the next 4 weeks, I don't change anything about the work itself. Instead, I start walking fast, like everywhere. Even if it's just to go to the kitchen area or the supply closet or to go fart in an empty boardroom, I speed walk like a kid trying to get the last cookie. Number 2, I start talking louder. Everything I would normally just quietly say to a coworker becomes a loud statement about what I'm doing and where I am going. I make sure to stand in doorways and yell across the office. Number 3, I start carrying a clipboard with me with architectural drawings on top and blank sheets of paper underneath. I carry this everywhere I go. Every time I need to talk to my boss, I make sure to put the clipboard down on his desk so he can see it, and I change up the top sheet of paper to look important and impressive. They were literally just random pieces of paper I found around the office. 1 month later, I have my second review, and sure enough, Don tells me he's really impressed with how I've stepped up and have been taking on more work. I haven't, and I didn't. I get my raise. I spent another 2 years working my butt off until I realized that was stupid and was not noticed or appreciated, and instead decided to just game the system. I really invested in that niche I made for myself in the office until I made sure that I was the only person who could do what I do. And now I coast along very nicely. Okay, so I'm kind of old. So I remember that there was a time when working in an office was more about what it looked like you were doing than what you were actually doing. This guy seems like he's probably a little bit old fashioned and came from that era. I can't tell you how many jobs I walked around for entire shifts and did basically nothing, just looked like I was working. And I, for the life of me, can't figure out how it is that that was better than the days that I put my all in and went home exhausted and came back the next day to find out that nobody gave a crap. So you may be wondering about that random fact in the beginning. It occurs to us here at Tiny Black Panther Productions that everyone can use a little random knowledge, and we like to share ours. So if you have any random tidbits you'd like to share with the world, please drop them in the comments below. I'll read out some of those facts in future episodes at random. Please just be sure they're accurate. Thank you for joining us on Recently on Reddit. Please comment, like, and subscribe. All comments will be read and considered, as it's my goal to get better at entertaining you. Again, thanks for watching, and bye-bye for now.